Good morning, folks, and welcome to another episode of Mark's Morning Business Check-In. It's Thursday, and it's anyone in Dublin, it's very breezy out there. The weather's really nice in London. Paris is good as well. And I just checked the Riviera, where one of our listeners always listens from, and it's still about 17 degrees over there. Fantastic. And we've got a few people listening from Spain and Seville and other places, and the temperature is about 50 and 16 degrees over there at the moment. And our friends from the United States, you're all over the place, so your weather's all mixed. But here in Dublin, it was very breezy last night. It's still very breezy this morning. It's not cold out. I was out earlier on, letting the dogs out and letting the chickens out and the rooster out. So it's not that cold out there at the moment, which is good. And yes, I do have chickens. Well, not my chickens. And a rooster who wakes me up about 5:30 every morning. So I need to reset him. I just cannot find the button to reset him because he's on the right time zone. Anyway, this morning, I want to talk about finding the right person. And we are in life and in everything else, we're always looking for the right person that we can spend time with. But in business, it's just as important. Building a management team and building the right people for the right roles within your company is a very hard thing to do. And it's even harder nowadays because of AI. Because of AI, when you're looking to hire someone senior and you're going through maybe a recruitment agency, all these CVs are coming out and AI will break down who they think matches your criteria. But the problem with AI is matching your criteria HR-wise based on what you've told it, the type of person you're looking for. But it cannot be touchy-feely. And most times when you're building a company and building a team up and building a management team, a lot of times you find the right people by meeting them at other networking events, meeting them at other maybe a sales meetings, maybe a presentations. But it's also about being touchy-feely in the sense that you actually have a feeling that this person will work well in your company. You have a feeling that this person is going to have the right touch to bring the sales department to the level you want to, or the marketing department, or the management, or the social media team, or the IT team. And the problem with AI is AI doesn't allow you to get that feeling of the right people. So even though you may hire a recruitment company, or you may do it yourself through Indeed or one of these big recruitment agencies, AI is still working in the background to match your criteria, what you've written down. But here's the reality is, a lot of stuff that we haven't written down is what we're looking for. Because you don't verbalize an awful lot of what you're really looking for in a good salesperson, or a good marketing person, or a good techie person. You just don't. And it's funny, one of the best management teams I worked with was when we were in Indigo. Most of the management team had been self-employed in other businesses, in other areas. And they were a very, very strong-minded group of people. Very strong-minded. However, they all knew what their expertise were, and they all focused on their expertise. And they left the other areas of the business that they knew they weren't experts in to other people. But at all the management meetings every week, they would all have an input into all the business, every element of the business. And they'd have arguments. The financial controller will have arguments with sales, and sales will have arguments with marketing, and marketing will have arguments about IT. But the whole aim of all those arguments was to push the company forward. Still, when they left that room, they went back to the respective corners to do what they were really good at. And it's very hard to find a management team with that, even on the sales manager's point of view area. It took us a while to find someone. We went through 2 people before we found someone that fitted into the culture and fitted into the company. And the first person we found, we thought would be fantastic. We went on recommendations. We went on what their reputation was in the industry. But through no fault of that person, we interviewed him over dinner, then we interviewed him over a cup of coffee, and then we offered him the job. But in a very short space of time, realised that person wasn't right for the company. It wasn't right. They weren't right for the culture, and they weren't right for the management team. They didn't fit the mold. And every management team has a mold, whether you like it or not. You might think yours is more entrepreneurial than someone else, or yours is more specialised than someone else. But you do, in your mind as a business owner, you get a vision of a type of management team you're trying to build up, with the type of expertise you want to bring your company to a certain point. So we all have a type of mold we want people to fit into. And that's the reality of it. And we realised this person wasn't the right person. So we took the bold step and a necessary step for everyone to tell this person that they weren't fitting in and they'd have to leave. Now, it cost us money. We had to settle up because this person wasn't with us very long, but it was the wrong person. And the next person we found was also the wrong person. Finally, we found someone that fitted into the culture of the company, fitted into the vision that we had. We didn't want someone to toe the line. We didn't want someone to say yes to all our decisions. We wanted someone to challenge us all the way along and to challenge the status quo. And that was important. Someone who, at every management meeting, would challenge the financial controller, would challenge the marketing people, would challenge the IT people, would challenge the HR people. Everyone had to challenge people at all those meetings. That was the arena for everyone challenging each other. But then when they went out, they did the job they were supposed to do. And so it's very hard to find the person you're looking for. And as I said, sometimes you might meet someone. I've met with other management teams I've had, and even when we involved management teams are bringing Top Gear to Ireland and Takes to Dublin on other events, you find people sometimes by accident. Sometimes it's you're having a coffee with someone, or you're in a meeting with a company, and you realize the person across the table would actually fit in very well to your organization. And many of us out there, and many business leaders, have found the right person by poaching them from other companies, because they haven't met them through them supplying the CV. They haven't met them through them supplying their CV through a recruitment company or a HR department. They've been found because they've, sorry, just make sure this is live. Yeah. They've been found. Now we're back, are we? Yeah. So the right person was found because maybe you were at a networking event, or maybe a long-term supplier is changing leadership or changing ownership, and you have your eye on someone in there who you think is very strong in sales, or very strong in marketing, or very good at finance, or very good at HR, and you approach that person to come to work for you. That's how a lot of top people get their jobs. They don't actually get it from supplying CVs. Some of the best directors out there, the best chairmen in companies, the best managing directors, they don't get their roles from selling in the CV. They get the roles from contacts they know, who hear that someone's looking for someone and say, that person will be an ideal fit for you. I remember once a project I did, I was asked to go into an entertainment company that had lost £1 million and on the verge of maybe going out of business. And they said, would you go and see, can you do anything to help them? But they found me through a very close contact who knew what my expertise was and my speciality was. So I went into that company and I got all the creditors to park the £1 million debt for a year while we regrouped and reorganised the company and put on more events to pay them off. And we did a deal with them all that they'll always be involved in other events going forward. To this day, they're still involved, some of them, in the likes of Taste of Dublin and other events. And they're still involved, all because they did that deal with us from day one to help keep the company going. It was a form of an examinership without being an examinership. And it was before examinership really came into being. So someone found me who had a lot of contacts and heard that this company was in trouble and asked me, would I go in and have a look? And that happens in a lot of companies. And as I said, the first person we found, one of the first ones for our management team many years ago in Indigo, we found them because they were recommended to us. Now, they were the wrong person, but that's only probably because we gave the person who recommended them probably the wrong information, the type of person we're looking for, and the type of culture we were in, because really, we didn't know the industry. We only just bought this company. We didn't know the industry. We didn't know the people in it. We didn't know the type of person we need. We didn't know really what was the approach from a sales perspective. So the person we thought we needed wasn't the person that we recruited them. As we got more experience in the industry and in the company, we realized the type of person we needed and we went to look for that person, and we found them. And they worked out extremely well. So finding the right person is very tough. But when you bring in the wrong person into a company, whether it's part of your sales team, whether it's part of your management team, if the wrong person is there, it can change the whole dynamics of your company and of your culture. It can actually change the whole dynamics of the culture you've built up. And that's why with new senior recruits, you need to make sure over a short period of time, you as the boss, you as the managing director, you as the person leading the company, you need to make sure that the person is actually working out in the way you hope that they will work out. And here's the thing, if they don't, you have to move very fast to move them on. I know that's a terrible thing. I know they may have left a very good job somewhere else to come to work for you. But if they are not the right person and they're not fitting in and they're not delivering the results you thought they would and they're not gelling with the type of culture you have there, you sadly have to get them to move on. Yes, like us, we had to get someone to move on, and it cost us about 6 months' salary, which is a lot of money, and a lot of money that we really didn't have because we were running this company after rescuing it on a shoestring, and we're still trying to raise more finance to keep this company going in the future. So it was money we really didn't have, and we didn't want to waste on that. But it wasn't really wasting it. We knew to fix the problem, it was going to cost us, because we were hoping that when we found the right person, that they would bring in so much sales, so much new business, so much new customers, and elevate the whole sales department up to a new level. That would be worth it. And it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. But initially, everyone's a loser. And that's just a sad point of it. So when you're out there looking for someone, before you put pen to paper to write down the type of person you're looking for, ask yourself, is there anyone you've interacted with in other companies, in maybe some of your customers' companies, some of your suppliers' companies, maybe at some networking event? Is there someone out there that actually may fit the bill? And maybe a cup of coffee, bit of lunch, maybe the right thing to do to see, is this person interested in coming to work for you? And keep an eye out, even in your own industry, what companies may be taking over. Maybe there's managing buyouts going on. Maybe there's complete managing buy-ins going on. And maybe there's people within those companies who now no longer have a stake in the company, who may be interested in moving into your organization and bringing all their skills, all their knowledge to you to help you develop your business. So looking for someone and finding the right person is a journey within itself. It really is. It's a journey within itself. And sometimes on that journey, we go off side roads because we've gone the wrong way. And when you've gone the wrong way, you need to correct it. And yes, sometimes that correction will cost you money. But you just have to bite the bullet, pay the money, and move on. Because most successful companies, if you look at them, they have a very strong management team. They have a management team that may not all agree all on the same thing, but they have a management team that challenge each other, They challenge each other and manager meetings, but out in the open, they support each other and they back each other up. And that's really important. Let them challenge you behind closed doors and be willing to listen. And let them challenge all the other heads of the department behind closed doors. But the good management team and the strong management team and the successful management team and the experienced management team back each other up in public and challenge each other behind closed doors. And that's what it's all about. Thanks so much for listening to me this morning. I really appreciate it. If you want to listen to any of our shows, we've been doing this since the 6th of January. So we're going nearly 2 months now, every weekday at 7:30. So it's been a long journey, a journey that I'm still enjoying. So make sure, if you miss any of our shows about goal setting, using a whiteboard to set your goals, about cash flow, about crisis management, about management teams, about sales, about marketing, we've covered a whole load of stuff since the 6th of January. They're all up there on our YouTube site at Mind's Eye Education. And we've also some fantastic interviews up there. We've Simon, who started Yo Sushi. We've all heard of Yo Sushi. You've all eaten it probably in Yo Sushi. He sold it for 400 million. We have his interview up there. We also have Tara Fay, who is the Irish International Wedding and Event Coordinator. If you've ever used Tara, listen to the interview. It's fantastic. You're thinking of getting married soon and you're looking for a wedding, one of the top wedding coordinators in the world that even HarperCollins magazine and Martha Stewart has talked about, then listen to that interview all with Tara. We've also interviewed Brent Pope. We've also interviewed a chap, Michael, who makes Irish whiskey on the Boston River. He leaves the whiskey in crates on boats on the Boston River, so the tide goes up and down and helps the whiskey mature. All those interviews are on our YouTube channel, so just subscribe, follow us on YouTube. It's free, no cost whatsoever, absolutely free. But there's a ton of training stuff and other stuff up there that I think you will really, really enjoy. And most of it is on podcasts as well. So make sure, no matter where you listen to us, whether it's on podcasts, wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, make sure you hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a penny to hit the like button and the follow button. Just hit the follow button, and that way, as we do all the new stuff, with some great interviews coming up now over the next few weeks, I've got some great international people from the States who are going to bring a wealth of knowledge to the podcast. So they're all coming on very shortly. And I think you're going to really enjoy some of the talks we have coming up. So make sure you're following us on any of our social medias so you get a little message saying that's live. And it's all for free. All right. So everybody on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of other social medias, and we're going to say goodbye now in about 2 minutes' time. And we're staying with our friends on TikTok. So we always stay with TikTok after we've gone. It's like behind the scenes, just as we wind down. We talk to them for a few minutes. They like us talking to them. So it's Thursday morning. As I said, we're heading very fast now towards St. Patrick's Day or Paddy's Day. So we're heading very fast towards that. The whole Paddy's weekend will start on Friday evening at 5:30. There's a lot of stuff happening all over the world and all over Dublin. And not just a parade on Tuesday, but there's a lot of stuff happening in Dublin City and other cities around Ireland and in the UK and in the States and further afield. And also with my friends in Brazil, they're doing an awful lot of stuff for Paddy's Day as well. So make sure you listen in tomorrow. Tomorrow is our book review. I'm still deciding which book to do tomorrow, believe it or not. We've done a lot of books so far. Every Friday we book review. We've done Think and Grow Rich. We've done, what else we've done? We've done my book, You Need a Neck Like a Jockey's Bollocks. Don't forget, folks, if you want this book, there you go. You need a neck like a jockey's bollocks to be an entrepreneur. We've done Mind Store from Jack Black. Anyone who is interested in goal setting or goal setting and manifesting. Now, come on, folks. It's only 7:50 in the morning. I've been up since 6. Jack Black is the leader in that field, has been for years. I've known Jack. I first came across Jack in 1994. So we're going back a long time, and he's the expert. He's the one that has led the way for an awful lot of other people like Tony Robbins and all to follow. But he's still the original and the best. So we reviewed his books, so and a whole load of others. If you want to see what other books we reviewed, just go onto a podcast. All right, folks, that's me. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great Thursday. See you tomorrow, Friday, same time, same place.